לחצתי!
ירד במה?
לא, רק 6%. אולי זה יסתדר. צ'אט, אתם לא מבינים כמה תקלות יש במחשב, אני לא יודע מה קורה פה.
שלחתי לך מה שאמרתי.
אם מלא 9% דרופ פריים כתוב לי, 9%. אני כרגע בלייב 8%.
זה מצוין, הלייב הולך חלק.
יאללה, אני אתחיל אותו, ביי, אני אעשה. צ'אט, תקשיב, אתם לא מבינים איזה תקלות, אתם לא מבינים איזה בלגן. אתם לא מבינים איזה בלגן, וגם עדיין יש טיפה בעיות, אני מקווה שזה לא יפריע לנו. אנחנו נצפה לא בצורה שרצינו, מכיוון שהמחשב שלי לא נותן לי כרגע לעשות את זה. אני מקווה שזה ישתנה. אבל אנחנו מתחילים. אנחנו מתחילים, חבר'ה. אני מקווה שזה ירוץ כמה שיותר טוב.
Guys, make some noise for Mr. Savage, Chap, and Reason! And now, back to you, Frank.
Thank you very much, Benji. Now, the Gentlemates fans have been waiting for this moment.
יאללה, חבר'ה.
Because earlier,
זהו, זה אמור לרוץ בסדר, אני מקווה, יאללה, קדימה.
when we showed their faces, there was so much noise. So much cheering in this audience.
2.5 דקות חבר'ה. The green suits.
Getting warmed up. So please boys on your feet. Leon, make some noise for Twizzy, Twizzy and Mustache.
The green suit, אחי, תראו כמה אוהדים יש להם, אחי.
You've had a couple of second places at global championships. How do you make it number 1 this time?
תראו כמה אוהדים יש להם, אחי. זהו, אני חושב שהתחלנו וזה נראה בסדר גמור. מה הוא עושה, אחי?
And what would you like to say to them as they chant your name?
קוויזי! יו, שמות הקהל! מה אני שומע, אחי? מה אני רואה, אחי? מה זה? דבר כזה לא קרה כל כך הרבה זמן. הנה הגביע, חברים. פוקוס לוקח את הגביע! איזה מוגזם. איזה מוגזם, אחי. בסדר מה לעשות, אחי. נראה שמסתדר עם זה. חבר'ה, הכל יסתדר עלינו ללייב. בואו עכשיו ללייב!
Audience is going crazy for these players. It's got me so excited seeing them now take their seats, interact, getting their
ליאור, מה המצב, אחי? תקווה שהכל ירוץ חלק, צ'אט. רגע, זה רץ בסדר, ויש פה ושם אולי איזו תקיעה קטנה.
Start with you, Viv. You got a little, you got some insight. You put together a little list for us.
Yeah, I guess that's the big question this weekend. Who is going to perform well? I went ahead. I kept the NA bias going. I've got Acord, I've got Adrius, and I've got Poyo winning the whole thing. I mean, I
think
their situation is just too good. Uncontested, all 12 games. If that remains, I think it should be easy for them. The only thing that people might be looking at is
אוקיי. שוב, לא, אני לא פותח דיסקורד, שוב, אני מצטער. אני לא רוצה שיהיה לי שום לאגים, שום בעיות, שום כלום. אני מצטער. פוקוס הולך לגביע, צ'אט זה קיצוני. צ'אט עם פוקוס מנצח, זה לא אפשרי, אחי. זה לא אפשרי, צ'אט. הגזמנו. זה מוגזם, צ'אט.
I think the team that's going to take it. I think it's going to generate. I think it's going.
אחי, מה אני רואה?
Right now I'm rocking with Acorn, Poyo and the Ages. I think when you look at how things are set up for them, it just looks too good. It looks too good. Pollo has that experience of winning. I think it's going to carry them. The crowd's going to carry them. I also got Marius Vanya Pixie in there. They've had such a strong year.
הוא מביא לפיטרבוט מקום חמישי. וואו, צ'אט זה... אם פוקוס מנצח אתה תורם $1,000,000 אחי? אם פוקוס מנצח במשחק אחד צ'אט, אימא'לה אחי. אני אבכה אם הוא יביא ווין ברור אחי. אימא'לה. אימא'לה, אני כבר מתרגש. אתם לא מבינים כמה אני מתרגש כרגע. הנה הוא! זהו שם! זהו! שם, בצד שני! רואים אותו שם עם ה... רגע.
I am so excited, and we hope that if you were not able to join us here in person,
oh my god, רגע, אחי.
These roars from this crowd breaks through that you can hear it, and in those moments get excited because this is the global championship. After 6 games today, another 6 tomorrow, we will have new champions, prize money, a trophy, Acts of Champions 3.0. It is crazy to think we are finally here.
למה רחוקים לך מהשני, אחי? בת חסרה. צ'אט, הבת חסרה.
Maybe you're hoping to see a trio end well. What are you hoping to see today?
You know, Zeke kind of always asks me this question going into like...
זוכר שפוקוס קליקס פולבוקס? צ'אט, תנשמו. צ'אט, זה על גבול הבלתי אפשרי.
When we jump into a competition like this, I just want good Fortnite. I want to be entertained, and I cannot lie. I don't think that it's even possible for me to not be entertained.
All I ever want is a good moment.
All I ever wanted was a black grand national.
The next 12 games, I think we're going to see people really make their mark on this lobby. Who's going to come out there and get that first win, man? I mean, that's always the most exciting part. You know, get the jitters out, get that first win out of the way, and then we start rolling.
Yeah, dude, again, it's like, you know, obviously there is definitely some players who have changed everything, and especially, you got to think you have to come in so locked in. If something doesn't go your way and you're eliminated out of spot, you just have to sit there and watch everyone else
ואם הוא לא מסיים מקום 3 ומעלה,
closer to that trophy, right? So how are we going to try and keep
אנחנו עושים שלום שרה שלי לסיים 4 שעות?
I mean, I've got no idea. How are you going to keep your voices under control, right? The players are kind of walking out.
אין לי מספיק בהתקיעות.
Like, yeah, let's go. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I shouldn't do that so much. I don't know. I mean, I feel like even comping to your teammates might be a little hard sometimes. When we get into the end game, right? The crowd's going to be popping off at every single one of those eliminations. That keeps happening. It's going to be crazy. There's definitely going to be some stage of adaptability for every single one of our players. I mean, we talk about it all the time, Levin. Experience, but you can't.
אנחנו לא יכולים לראות עם איך שאני רואה כמו תמיד, איזה באסה, אבל לא נורא.
Amazing stages in your career, right? And I don't think you ever played in an atmosphere like this one, man. It's intense out here.
No, I definitely haven't. I think this one is going to go down in the history books, and we haven't even jumped into game number 1 yet.
Man, you were talking about game number 1.
מתחילים?
It is the battle bus is ready to go. Once
מתחילים?
again, the pinnacle of Fortnite. The very best trios will now begin the fight to the top. Who will walk away as a global championship trio? Who will take hold of the Acts of Champions 3.0? And who will take home that unbelievable trophy? The competition starts right here, right now. Once again,
מה אני רואה? מה זה הקהל הזה? מתי יש כזה קהל בפורטנייט? איפה פוקוס? הנה פוקוס בפינה, נודר, ראו אותו בפינה. אומייגאד! אומייגאד. אומייגאד, אחי. אומייגאד.
It's all about that player pride, Jacob. We know just how much is truly contained among so many of these trios competing here today.
Amen, chat, amen.
Hot already. This is an off-spawn fight that we have been expecting to see, and what I really want to know is the shake-up, the outcome. Prodoxy trying to get that first touchdown, to get the first weapon. Sure enough, Atrus on the run, still trying to see if he can score away from this, but Pablo, he's been taken down. Chino's fallen too. It's Tayson with the comeback. Prodoxy trying to see if he can lock it down for his team, but Tayson determined to Prodoxy's team, and sure
הורידו אותי, זה טוב שהורידו אותו. הוא היה הימור קשוח. וואי, הימור קשוח, צ'אט, הימור קשוח הבן אדם הזה היה.
One of our contested fights, 1-0, and do you see this already? They're already not landing at Dystopia City. Everybody was talking about it. They heard the rumors. I kept my ears to the streets all week long to figure out what their game plan was. And scrims leading up to this weren't necessarily netting the best results. And now you see towards Foxy Floodgates. And what this does not only affect visuals.
אתם קולטים שאנשים כבר לא מפחדים מפיטרבוט. פיטרבוט זה גם מטורף, אבל אנשים כבר לא מפחדים ממנו כל פעם. ויקו וינו הפליקסי. רייז. לא יודע, וינוס עצמות, אחי.
For Vico Veno and Flixie Coyota, the sole survivor of this exchange.
And Coyota has pulled a ton of tricks throughout his career, both online and in global events just like this. But early on in game number one, he's already being forced to play out some of those tricks. He has to disengage, stay alive a little bit longer, and try to have a chance. But you hear the crowd in the background, Swizzy, Queasy, and Mustache, uncontested at the hive. And some are looking at this, could be one of the best POIs. You get the experience for your OXR rank, the medallion, the mythic weapons, a lot of extra heals at the POI itself, and then the elevation. Kelly and Mini Miner were breaking it down so that way they can start to build that base early and accumulate the storm surge so that way later on in the game they can easily start to rotate around.
And most importantly of all, they're uncontested here at Hive. Whether that stays true throughout the course of this weekend, well, that'll be determined by how things develop, but other teams still caught up in a little bit of battle processing at the start of this match. Dystopia City heating up. Epic Whale, Paper, Victor V, they made it very clear they had zero intentions of ever leaving this POI. So Tete, Raito, Razzle, they're gonna have to
ראיתו, אחי, ספרדיה. הקהל ספרדיה, נשמע שלא תהיה עד היום. עד היום לא יודעת שהיא ספרדיה. ראיתו.
So that's going to be one of the key aspects to a fight like this, but you're already seeing a flank going around from Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual. They're ready to take advantage no matter what happens here, no matter who comes out on top. It's going to be them, but Tay takes a big shot.
Epic
Whale, the 6-time FNCS champion, dealing a massive amount of damage.
Tay down to his last little bits of HP though. Epic Whale, he's going to have to take a moment to also get some relief. Paper, nice supportive fire, and that's a big elimination cleanup onto Tay. But now, Ritual, they're starting to close in. They're interested in everything that Raito has to offer.
Raito!
An immediate elimination, but they've already signaled to Epic Whale, Faber, and Victor V that they've got company. Shields are cracked. Peterbot's not letting anyone. Peterbot's aim is just notoriously strong, and he is chasing them full on key with those crash pads. He might be able to make it before they can pull up the double revive. He's challenging the wall. Victor V trying to do what he can to defend. Peterbot's shut down.
Cold, אחי.
Ritual. They don't need this. They don't want this. They're looking to see if they can still clean up the exchange, but without Peterbot, they're going to be forced to temporarily retreat.
This is almost exactly how it was playing in some of those practice games.
But this time,
Paper, Epic Whale, and Victor
Raito.
aggressors in some of these situations. They try to disengage. Epic Whale goes down, but Victor B does it again. He was a huge part of them even making it to the global stage, clutch after clutch when his team went down through 4 different drop spots. But now the foot has been turned. Cold and Ritual now need to start to think in and outside of the box. How do we get our IGL back? This is exactly what Victor did from the revive to end the
Wow, Victor V, אחי, wow.
So greedy there by Pete. Victor V doing exactly what he needs to, showcasing what kind of a fragger he is. But Atris, Tayson, in a spot of trouble here. A couple of splashes.
איזה קהל, אחי. שאת, כאילו משחק כדורגל, אחי, בברנבאו, אחי. תקשיבו לקהל צועק. תכף התחילו לשיר שיר. אחי! הקהל בא מוכן, מה זה?
And Tayson going to be able to pull things out to a little bit of a standstill now. Chicho, Atris, Tayson, they might not actually have to force this battle.
Yeah, it seems like they're overall just
לא צריך מוד, אם אני צריך אני אגיד לך אחי.
You see their material count relatively low in comparison to after winning
צ'יטר
that
פה,
spawn fight. You think
אחי,
they try to get as
דבר
much
יפה.
resources as possible, but they know when it comes to Storm Surge, it's essentially currency. It essentially allows you to freely rotate around the map versus other teams that might have to slowly rotate, sit in their surge bases a little bit longer, and figure out what they're going to do. But see, they figured it out quick for Cold and Ritual. They already get the reboot back on up, and they're ready to play this one out because they're making way on over to Foxy already.
Still a really big wake-up call, though, for this trio. They have got to be careful. We know just how capable they are at finding those eliminations, and they're not the only ones.
Poyo, Edgers, and Acorn.
Edgers and Acorn right behind them. These guys just staying so tight-knit and rolling through this map. They're barely looted up at this point too, Jacob. It just looks like Surge is all theirs to control.
קפצו עליו אחי.
Crash pads, no audio. Rather didn't even hear or see it coming.
וואו.
There's no knock, straight elimination.
לא נתנו לו אפילו אופציה לנשום.
That was the third one from Dystopia City is down and out. But fight after fight, Ark, I did see it in the feed. He already got one elimination. And I was talking to them a bunch. You know, me being an NA West fan, this was their game plan all along. Contested or not, they're going to push either toward the north or the south. They feel like these teams are easy to fight. And already that confidence continues to build. But Goofy is just trying to slow things down just a little bit. And monster shot to take down the shield of Salco. But Ark and School, they're holding the walls and making sure nobody can get out of this one.
זהו קצנים בעשים זה אחי, מצטער, אני מקווה שזה ייעלם. ממש מקווה.
To take up a box fight with anybody, and especially these guys as teammates right next to him. You can see the confidence from the NA West boys, but Oshi still doing their best to hold their own despite being down a player. It doesn't seem to be deterring them. They know they can't really leave this area because they're likely to meet their party. They've got to just find a way to delay and hope that they have that little bit of a saving grace from another team entering the exchange.
Uh-oh, I see somebody rotating relatively close. They said, hey, where's our invitation? We want to join this party. We want to figure out how we need to approach this situation, and they're lurking all the way underneath. So it's going to be Salco, School, and Ark, the ones that need to watch out just a little bit. Vortex and Goofy, they're just trying to hold their ground as much as possible. But this is the thing, against a team like Ark, School, and Salco, when you try to hold your ground like this, that's for them a sign of weakness. They're going to continue to put that pressure down. They don't need to disengage out of this fight. They can wait as long as they want because in essence, they're just denying you time, they're denying you opportunity, and denying the chance to get that.
Might not be as prime as what it initially appeared, not with Queasy hovering in the distance. You can see they got a little bit of elevation to work with too. They're bound to take notice of what's going down. Elsewhere across the map though, south of Hive, King, PA's in, Phaser getting fraggy up against Scarpa and Way. And that's going to be an easy cleanup there for King's team. Feeling really good about that aggressive start.
Now over towards Supernova, and already early on, Taco, you can kind of see where the zone is favoring a little bit towards the north, massively towards the west. So even though Clicks, Higgs, and Yamzo haven't had to rotate,
יכול שהמטר ואנחנו לא יודעים את זה, אבל אני לא מאמין.
ריט קופר. וואו, היקס תיזהר אחי, היקס תקריטי. וואי, זה אשכרה FNCS ראשון שאני לא בהכרח רוצה שקליקס ינצח. אני רוצה שקליקס יהיה מקום ראשון או שני אחי, אבל אני חושב שפוקוס תהיה ראשון. מה שלא אופציה, אבל זה מטורף אם כן. לא יקרה, אבל זה מטורף.
It's bound to just have that trickle down effect to his teammates. Not to say that Cooper and Curly aren't clearly thinking of themselves in the same way, but it is a huge
יש הפסקה של רבע שעה.
Every single time this weekend, Jacob,
פינג, מליבוקה,
Channelmates, Malibuka, Ping, loading across the screen here, just waiting to find their reposition opportunity. That sole elimination on Malibuka right now, but tailing just behind Yapko, Panzer, and Seti. This could be disastrous if they don't realize what's coming up behind them.
Oh my god.
There's no audio visuals that far away, so they're just going to try to get some easy surge. You see the launch pads coming out. That's a huge signal. Seti and Panzer have to kind of second guess if they want to go for it.
because Yapko's just getting
איך פינג הכי פוגע?
just one shot left is all they need, but he possibly leaves that render distance and figures out a way to survive. Heads up to Seti and the Panzer. They not only building that to try to fire back on him, but that coincidentally enough shielded their teammate Yapko for him to survive.
They fully protected their trio mate. That's just excellent team play, but pulling back, Baka, Pars, Pump. A little bit tangled up right now north of Supernova Academy. Snowy and Ryu, though, arguably in a slightly worse position, but the intention is clear. These two teams very likely to clash here, Jacob. They could both definitely utilize Surge. We know just how high those numbers and that threshold.
Yeah, these are two teams. I think they land relatively close to one another, almost contesting each other even. During some of those practice games, they were actually kind of feeling each other out, fighting it out. Either team kind of won that.
Bro, Savage, למה אתה משתמש בסקין הזה? מטורף.
So they're trying to take a slow
6-7.
rotating parallel with the zone moving towards the north. Stay towards the dead side of it all and just try to make sure they have the best chances to survive what could be a very, very chaotic storm surge if it does deactivate. And that's why you're seeing so many teams taking that proactive approach to try to gain some elevation, some high ground, and even if it means fighting it out on the surge base.
Hero. Nobody there to provide a little bit of backup either. That could be the first knock here. Hero with the big opening. FKS going to capitalize. Their box space control, and now FKS trying to make the approach from above. Just so aggressive though. Hero's going to be forced to pull back just a little bit. Too much firepower. Just not healthy enough. Barely enough HP, and he can't escape from FKS. Aetherus even getting a little bit more involved from a distance, and this is part of the problem with trying to take some of these extended box fights. You just
רפידס בולס וקנדה, אחי, שנים ביחד כבר. רפידס בולס וקנדה, אחי, שנים ביחד.
Rapid and Bolts. Kanada's perfection continues in terms of qualifying for every single FNCS Grand Finals in the history of FNCS. But I think they come in with a different energy this time around. If you remember a few years ago, contested against Malibuca and Thomas at the Global Championship, he just had a different mindset. He's like, I'm contested, it's not going to go well. This time, he's confident. He says, hey, we're going to win. And the way they've been playing lately, they have as good a chance as anybody at taking that top spot.
איזה שירים, אחי. וואלה, מטורף, אחי, מדברים קליקס באמת. זה די חלום, אחי.
Pixie just steadily trying to creep up on the opposition, but thinking twice, recognizing a couple of the teams, local, to their area. They don't want to overextend here, but
קוראים לו מנסור, אחי.
he's just waiting to see
אחי, קוראים לו מנסור.
break out these floors from underneath Valor and Mansour.
שבוש קוראים לו מנסור, אחי.
To prevent Vanya, Pixie, and Marius from an outright collapse.
Yeah, and they're just kind of playing as calculated as they can. We've seen a lot of these fights kind of not
Hey,
necessarily end as smoothly and as cleanly as some of these trios would expect, especially with so many third-party potential there. You know, we saw Atris just kind of going that elimination away early on in this game, and now Vanya just trying to target it after. He feels like he has to slow down a few layers, but he's able to catch himself and not let this pressure get to him too much. But they're in the zone, Taco, and that kind of depletes any opportunity from heal off later on in the game. The longer and longer you stay in this situation, but even if they win this here, they have to be careful. One team in front of them out of zone. You saw Chap, you saw Reason, Mr. Savage. They're towards the north of them, so this is not going to be as But the main thing that I'm noticing, Jacob, is that Vanya, Marius, they're not carrying any white heals, so unless Pixie actually has something to work with, yeah, these guys are going to just have to get out of this position. They can't afford to keep tanking these early storm ticks. It's just not worth it, but on their way out, Balona and Mansour definitely not going to make it easy. Rachel, Peterbot, they might have just found Flixie and Venno with Vico, but for right now, Rangers Ruin, what seems like it might have been heating up, these guys are actually looking to kind of slow it down. Yeah, and for, you know, Ritual and his trio, they just kind of have scraps. They got sticks and stones. And look at this on the other side. Multiple minis, big pots, full health, almost max mats. And even though they don't necessarily have that information on one another, that is a great decision for them to kind of go their separate ways. Because I would almost give that one up to Venno and his trio if that did fight it out. Continuing looking around, Cammy, how the eye drop all the way from the Shining Span Bridge. And honestly, even though they're on different teams, Seti, Cammy, I don't know if it would have been the same global championship without him, but Storm Surge finally showing its face. 602 damage above the threshold. As much as I want to feel confident, we know that can change in the blink of an eye.
Oh, easily, but Acorn and Agers, they might just be the ones to actually intervene here. They seemingly have their position, but Cammy, a little bit of pressure applied with the approach and walks. Just trying to be wary. There is so much company in that area. It's very easy. Just one window edit for too long.
אני לא יכול ליצור בפוקוס כי המחשב שלי כרגע במצב עדין, מאוד עדין.
321 damage below the threshold. This is a two-time NA West champions. In Major 1, they won 6 out of 12 games, just dominating the region. But contested off spawn, it tends to do things to you, especially when the team is running away. But they're still hot on the hills. These are still the two teams rotating parallel to one another, but Baka, Pars, and Pump, they've now ran out of options. Their hand is being forced, and they have to go in, because Storm Surge will activate, and every 7 seconds they will take 25 damage.
But the worst part still, Saad not actually in the same position. His team relatively healthy for their surge, at least for right now, Jacob. Pars, Baka, Pump, they're going to take a moment to pause, but now, with these storm ticks running to break away at their shields, they're going to be forced to fight it. Baka already out of this battle. Pars shortly after, but now Saad still
טופ 65, אחי טופ 22 למות, וואו, מטורף. אקרון בנוק! אקרון בנוק!
You don't get knocked. You get straight eliminated back to the lobby, but I did see it in the feed. A couple of these guys kind of putting it all in the chest. Lands a great shot on the Valor. You see him dropping him down, trying to finish the fight. 1v3 situation.
Cooper! Cooper!
Haymaker as he gets another knock in this situation. 300.
Cooper!
Cooper with the 1v3.
That couldn't have been a better time to clutch things up, but Cooper's still going to have to essentially play his life here. There are too many players that are going to prevent him from finding that breath of relief. 42 below even inside of that damage threshold for Surge. Jacob, it is so sad to see after what a phenomenal clutch he just pulled off, and with Watts, Luka, and King pressing to actually survive, but Peterbot just continues to have to deal with playing the defensive here. Cold, Ritual, and Peterbot now looking to be on the move, but they're still just barely above this damage threshold.
וואי, קולד אחי, הוא אשכרה קולד אחי. קולד הוא באמת קולד.
And it's knocking them above, below, and it's essentially doing a little bit of mind games for a team like this. And you see his material count, 3 builds left. They almost have to go onto the next team they see, but it's Veno and his trio, it's Kanata and his trio. There's so many dangerous players all around. They're just happy that they're 73 above the damage threshold, waiting for the next zone, but they have to do something because everyone around them is being proactive. They see them out the weak team. Vigo, Veno, Flixie, they're targeting it over.
Cold match.
That's Kanata stealing away that elimination. Veno's going to clean that one up, so points go to Kanata's team. Loot goes to Veno's.
EU on one side, Middle East on the other, and Ritual, the last man standing, but not for much longer, fully eliminated. That is a huge but Vigo, Veno, Flixie, now they might have drawn the attention of the lobby. They're going to take a moment to pause, replenish their shields. Halad and Hero still doing what they can, but they're lingering just outside. They're going to have to still try and push back Jason's trio, and that's going to be hard to tunnel through because Jacob, with the way that the zone is pulling over resistance, so much water, so much exposure, teams are just burning through materials.
Yeah, this one's going to get messy. There's one lone team. I think they're a duo on the other side of that island already. They don't have to worry about anything. Meanwhile, they have to make decisions here on this side.
וואלה אחי, כן, יש לו איזה יתורן עליו אחי. בדיוק השיג את המדליה החדשה שמאתרת שחקן אחד, אתה בוחר את זה. איפה השם שלו? אפל! אפל! ראיתי את אפל! ראו את אפל. אומייגאד, אומייגאד, רגע, רגע, רגע! איפה ראיתי? אפל מיקסון! מה? אחי, איפה? פוקוס מת? אחלה ארקי, אחי. פוקוס מת? ראיתי, הנה, אפל מיקסון. לא ראיתי. פוקוס חי, פוקוס חי. פוקוס מיקסון ואפל בחיים. אוקיי. let's go. טופ 49 כרגע. טופ 18 בתכלס. יאללה, אבל תראו אותם בפייט אחי, ושהם יקרה, שברו להם את הראש. מה, תודה רבה לך להזכיר את המלך. תודה רבה לך אחי.
in this game, but there goes Malabuka. Nice drop by the Hottie. He needs it, and he needs it now because he's barely above that damage threshold.
And that's the kind of refresh that Marius was hoping to find, but instead it's going to be all Malabuka. But no, he's going to actually force to keep charging forward. He doesn't even get a chance to try and collect that body loot off of Hottie. Fortunately, he still has a good amount of material.
איך הם מתכוונים לשרוד את זה אחי? איפה הם?
As he trails behind him.
איפה הם?
This crash pad combination just taking him so far, but when you're in this position,
לא נראה אותם אחי. מיקסון, אפל ופוקוס, שלושתם עדיין בחיים. שלושתם עדיין בחיים. מריוס. אימא'לה אחי. ביי מריוס אח שלי. מיקסון, אפל ופוקוס. סטיל אלייב. וואו, 60 מיליון. סאבג', ריזון וצ'ופ. וואלה בינתיים מצב סבבה נראה לי. נראה לי מצב סבבה לגמרי. And move into the next position. Cisco Kaido striker though, right up above. Kanata rapid and bolts trying to see if they can be a threat. But if you're going to be in this height position, you've got to make sure that you are controlling, funneling players away from height, away from secondary height even. But with the crash pads in play, Jacob, that's going to be so difficult. אוקיי, מצב טוב, פשוט יושבים בבוקס אחי, שאומרים מה הם עולים לייב? מה הם עשו שם? ראיתי שהם עושים משהו. ראיתי שהם עושים משהו. מה הם מנסים לעשות? הנה הם, רגוע. הם מתחתיו עכשיו. מתחת לטייסון. אפל, מיקסון. איפה פוקוס? לא ראיתי את פוקוס, הוא לא מת, נכון? למה לא ראיתי אותו? למה לא ראיתי את השם שלו, אחי? איפה פוקוס? פוקוס חי. מרסטאץ' מת? צ'יקו מוריד את מרסטאץ'? קאדו מפנש אותו.
Steal whatever is left back from her stash. And you're seeing there's a decent amount of loot. The Flowberry Fizz, probably the most important part of the entire loadout that he has. In that. They're still trying to claim space, and with the minigun, that's just going to be a little extra shield. Vico's got to play a little careful here not to take too much damage. Swizzy, Queasy, same thing, but they have multiple splashes. They got the slurs. They got success in their inventory. But they don't have the materials.
לא, אפל! טוב! הוא יצא מזה טוב. כל טוב. טופ 8. תמשיכו, טופ מטורף. תמשיכו ככה. פוקוס חי, אפל, הם עדיין בחיים. רגע, לא, רק אפל. טוב אפל! אפל לזון. איפה אפל? איפה אפל? אפל הרג עוד אחד! הוא הרג את פליקס! אפל הרג את פליקס! פליקס הרג את פוקוס! אפל מת! טופ 6! טופ 7! טופ 6 או 7! לא שמתי לב. וואו, נייס אחי! טופ 6 או 7, נייס! טופ 6 או 7, נייס! הכל טוב, חבר'ה, זה מעולה. מה, אתם נורמלים? טופ 6 או 7, זה בסדר גמור כרגע. הכל טוב, זה בסדר גמור, הם עשו את זה מעולה. שיחקו את זה מעולה.
but Kanata, Rapid, can the double revive actually be a success? And sure enough, it's a fully intact trio versus the sea of duos.
Oh!
Big elimination onto Swizzy though.
אין מצב.
Going to immediately
אבל זה שריזון וזה עושים... לא, לא.
still on the
That's not
high
bad.
ground. This is looking grind up for Tayson to bring it home.
That was a huge knock for both. They finished that elimination on the reason.
Kanada,
This is a
תנשום אחי.
2v2, and the only team alive with all three is going to be Rapid, Kanada, and both. Ow, that's not my fault. I didn't curse him, but it is now just one less player that they have to worry about. Tayson trying to
בולט!
take down low.
משאיר טייסון לואו. טוב! קנדה! קנדה לוקח את המשחק הראשון! קנדה, רפיד ובולט, אחי, לקחו את המשחק הראשון, מה אני רואה? נייס, אחי! נייס! נייס, אחי! הביא משחק יפה, הביא משחק יפה לגמרי. וואלה, נייס, הביא משחק יפה. הביא משחק יפה. הביא משחק יפה רצח.
You were telling Benji how confident you were going into this competition. You were telling me in the player lounge yesterday you felt like this was your year. Now you have the first victory royale, but you made it look simple.
I mean, to be honest, Rapid Eye yelling like a goat right now. I'm just following. I'm the minigun in the whole lobby, and we're just winning the game for free.
Winning the game for free. I don't think the other trio is going to let you have an easy ride in future.
Oh my god, אחי.
What was it
Easy
like
win
being
for
caught in
free.
the chaos, the three of you going into the end game?
Yeah, I mean, Rapid was just full tarping. I'm like just looking with shocking out on my wall. Everything was a max. Guy on my double edit, 120 on height, Nada goes up from the back, dead on both. Literally a go.
First game, first victory royale. That was the plan?
Yeah. First of many. Sorry. First of many.
First of many what?
Wins. Victory royales. 4.
Ah, il mise sur 4 victoires. Messieurs, dames, du bruit pour le trio de Canada, Rapid and Bolts.
וואלה, וואלה, משחק טוב. ברור שהם לא זוכים, חבר'ה, זה רק בהתחלה. רגע, בוא נראה את הטבלה. אחי, בוא נראה את הטבלה. אחי, בטבלה הפותחת. אתם מבינים את זה שהם בטבלה הפותחת? מתן, אתם מבינים את זה שהם בטבלה הפותחת, כן? פוקוס בטבלה הפותחת. אומייגאד, אחי. איזה מקום הם יהיו, אבל מעניין.
And of course, Rapid, let's head to the break. We'll be back soon with more Fortnite.
איזה קפיצות, אחי. וואלה, אחלה קנדה, אחי. וואלה, קנדה באמת הכי קונסיסטנט שיש. כל FNCS הוא נמצא, הכל... אחי, טבלה, איפה הטבלה? נו, אבל תראו את הטבלה! כמובן שהם יגרמו לי להיכנס לזה, כאילו אני איזה... עובד שלהם. מקום 10. כרגע מקום 10. כרגע מקום 10. כרגע מקום 10. מה? חבר'ה? רפיד קנדה ובולטס לא מקום ראשון. הם מקום שני. מקום ראשון זה טייסון. מה? כמה קילים הם עשו? איפה זה? 13 קילים? וואו. וואו, 13 קילים זה מכובד, אחי. תרגיעו את השירים פה, אחי. עכשיו זה שירים של קופירייט. אומייגאד. טוב, כרגע אנחנו מחכים עוד דקה ו40 זה מתחיל. כרגע פוקוס מקום 10. כרגע מקום פוקוס, מיקסן ואפל, כרגע מקום 10. וואו, כרגע זה מצב טוב. כרגע זה מצב טוב לגמרי. פוקוס, מיקסן ואפל, מקום 10 זה ממש טוב. בסדר כבר מתחיל עוד דקה וחצי, כן. יש הרבה צופים, זה לא היה ככה הרבה זמן. משהו קרה למשחק שהוא כאילו נהיה יותר פופולרי? אני לא יודע את זה? הם עלו ללב בטוויץ'? פורטנייט עלו ללב בטוויץ', מה אני רואה? כן, 60,000. מתן. הלו. אין לי מה לעשות עם זה. יש לי משהו במחשב בעיה. צריך לסדר אותה במאוחר יותר. הייתי כבר כמה שעות לסדר את זה בלייב הכל.
Global Championship.
10 מתוך 33.
I cannot believe Kanada comes out and gets the first game on the day.
אחי, טינג'ה מקום אחרון, שהם היו... מה שקרה, סיכון נצח. זהו, הם יעלו.
Those interviews right after, right? Because like, and normally in majors, we don't get that. We just like, oh, they're amazing, whatever. To go right to them, hey, talk us through. To get each and every one kind of saying, hey, this is what I was doing. This was my part. This was their part. Oh my gosh, man, Vivid, I love this.
Yeah, I mean that's the type of reaction we wanted. No better person to go ahead and win game number 1. We know Kanada every single time he pops up on that stage, he's gonna let us know exactly what just happened. But Levin, I mean, we're kind of watching through this game. There's so much stuff happening throughout the entirety of these moving zones, and we never really checked in with him. And then I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Rapid's alive, Bolt's is alive, Kanada's alive. The full trio was up.
I mean, I love the celebration there, man. Look at it. He actually celebrated more than people who have won global championship. You know, I don't think we've seen people celebrate like this when they even win. And it just goes to show how much it means to them, how much it means to have such a good start. You're right, Vivid. Things were looking so good. I mean, as soon as we cut to Kanada, he has minigun in hand. I mean, flashbacks to the end of last year. I mean, things were so good for them towards the back end of this game. And to see all of them be confident, right? We know like Kanada's going to be confident. That's a given.
Yeah.
But Bolts and Rapid, the way they were talking, they really believe that they're going to go out here and win for however many more games.
Dude, 11, Zeke. Bolt just being like, yeah, man, I just had my shotgun out and everything was a max.
Max, bro. Like,
dude, you got to be feeling good, right? Because we kept talking about it. You got to adjust to the stage. You got to adjust to your setup. The fact that in game number 1, you're already hitting maxes and you know you are.
And I love that for Bolt.
Oh my God.
Right? When you look back to last Globals, he and at the end of the event, every single player that was in that lobby afterwards was going to me, Levin, man, I'm trying to play Bolts, man. Can we get Bolts in our chair? Bolts has to be the guy. Everybody thought he was going to ascend to be the best player in the world, right? And he's had an up and down year. But to come back on this global stage and for him to have a first game like that, it goes to show Bolts is still that guy.
I am so happy right now. But honestly, when we looked at those standings, they weren't in first place, right?
Yeah,
we look over and Tayson is in first place. 13 eliminations, right? So again, remember, we are all so used to seeing majors, right? We're sitting in our own region comfortable, but these are some of the best trios in the world. How are we putting up double-digit eliminations in game 1?
This is the same guy, by the way, who started the day saying, yeah, I'm going to give the win to other people. What was he waffling about, mate? He is on fire right now. They win the off-spawn. It's a close one. It's a tight one. But Tayson clutched up big. And then they go on to just win.
וואלה, האמת שפיטר בוט הפעם היה על הפנים במשחק הזה. הוא לא הגיב כל כך. זה לא היה פיטר בוט שאנחנו מכירים.
They might just end up having to watch for half an hour. But this is what they can do when they win that fight. We know it.
Yeah, I mean, incredible stuff, right? Talking about that all spawn. I kind of mentioned, hey, when you win this all spawn, it's not always going to happen where you have all 3 alive, and they had that happen, right? No stalling of the early game, and then, oh my gosh, Chicho just putting on an absolute clinic. You're a duo, and you look up, you see 3 people on the high ground. You see that they're only connected by 1 wood floor. You have the confidence to not only go ahead and pressure the team on the high ground, but then knock 2 of them while they're falling from the high ground. Chicho just showing us the aim in full force.
I mean, this is where I start to really look at the global championships and things get interesting for me, because I think a lot of people were expecting in this first game for Hype to look a certain way.
Yeah.
Like, we know EU teams like to play with it. We know Queasy's team love to play for it early. We know Vanya's team can do it as well. In this game, it was Queasy's team that had set up. Kazi seems to end up taking it from them, and so Chicho and them are looking up. They might have probably been expecting it to be more reinforced, right? Chicho's probably looking up thinking, Queasy's probably up there. He looks up and he's like, hold on a minute. Single with time, man. Let's chop this down. And it's so opportunistic, but it's exactly what you need in a lobby like this. You have to take opportunities when they come to you.
Oh my gosh, so absolutely beautiful. Man, as we start to head down this live list, though, Vico, Veno, Flixie tied up with Chap, Reason, and Mr. Savage. Wow. You know, there's just so many incredible moments. I feel like anytime we cut to a different trio, it's just like, hey, this trio's popping off. They're pushing what trio? They're doing what? Like, this is such an exciting time in Fortnite. Once again, I'm going to keep saying it all weekend long. Bringing together 7 ranges and making them fight. It is spectacular.
I mean, this game looks so good for me, Flixie and Vico. Honestly, I thought they were going to go ahead and win it because, you know, come around to, I believe it was like 9th zone, it actually pulled to the southeast, and they were already kind of primed up, ready to go ahead, full force, grab the front side of moving, and they did. But for some reason, when they got there, they just had nothing left in the gas tank. They couldn't defend the position. They couldn't pick up the eliminations nor the refreshes in time for them to stay alive as a trio. As you can see here, still the individual performances from Vico and Veno still picking up enough points to put them high up on that leaderboard. But man, if they could have just stayed alive for a little bit longer as a trio, they could have won that game.
Confidence coming into the competition, and it was good to see him in his element, not shying away from the stage, not shying away from the bright lights. In that game, there was so many. There was a couple of moments in that end game where it almost felt like they had to tell him to chill a little bit. I saw him trying to like run into boxes a bit too much. But when Vico is going to be a big problem for anybody in this lobby who even gives him an inch of room to fight.
Dude, I mean, also, you know, we kind of touched on it earlier about height. The way Queasy had that kind of early game, right? Obviously, we knew that they're uncontested, but I'm thinking, bro, this is it, game over. I mean, and things didn't quite go that way.
It was unfortunate because the setup looked primed for a classic Queasy height win. It just looked so set up perfectly, but Vivid, an unfortunate zone pull. We've seen it happen. You know, it's a part of the game. Of course, as a pro team, you are doing everything you can to mitigate any possible RNG, but sometimes the zones just don't pull your way. And I think that was really the thing that sort of forced them to have to not be able to play high in this one. Still, very good intentions from them throughout that game.
Oh yeah, 100%, right? It was actually a high ground take, right? We saw them as pigs.
Is that movement
on the high ground. They had it pretty secured, and then I was like, oh my gosh, it's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's Queasy and Co. They launch padded right over, landed on top of him, had it convincingly, and like Levin was talking about, right, the zone was incredible. It was like 7th zone. Every single team was on the east side of it, right? They were chilling. There was this big body of water. All the way on the west side, there was one set of arrows. Just one little set of purple arrows, and that was Kado's trio from the Brazilian region.
אחי, אני מובן במשחק שאני חושב
So they just had high ground for free and Queasy like, yeah, you guys are lucky. I'm not going to go for that, but man, I'm going to hit socials after that one.
And I mean, there was a point where I thought they might even try to retake it, right? Because Queasy gets the fizz, like he sees the loot, gets the fizz, he has his crash pad.
It's in the movement, אחי, okay, crash pad.
Go for it, this can still happen, but look, again, it's like what I said, intentions, right? You see that they're coming here to play their game, they're not shying away from doing what they do best. Queasy Mustache definitely not heard the end of it from them.
Guys, there's a trio I'm not seeing in this top 10 right now. And we thought they were going to be triple contested, but turns out they decided to land on the train, kick things off. Peterbob, Hold, and Ritual. And before we go any further, I just want to tip my hat to Victor V. Peterbob decided, let me get a little crazy right now. We got to knock, let's push things. Victor V said, excuse me, this is a global stage, friend. Knocks him back down, and then from that point forward, boys, they're just kind of trying to piece things together. Shambles all game?
This might be a concern, right? Because if the plan from these guys was, hey, look, we're going to land outside the POI, get looted up a bit, and go in third party. We know those guys are going to take a bit of time to
find מנצח, פוקוס כרגע נמצא בטבלה. נמצא בטבלה הרשמית כבר, בטבלה של 10 המובילים.
And the first game goes like
that,
do you start rethinking things a little bit? Do you start thinking, okay, maybe this isn't an easy of a flight to clean up as we thought, because they got rocked in there.
I mean, everything in game number 1 is perfect. Like Levin
זה לא נתפס, אחי. זה פריקינג לא נתפס. זה משהו כל כך מטורף שאנשים לא מבינים כמה זה גדול. שנים אני צופה בכל השחקנים, ופתאום מישהו מכאן, אחי, מאיפה אמרו שהוא? מודיעין? לא, איפה הוא? מאיפה הוא? אחי, מפה! מפה! מגיע לשם, אחי.
I think the execution of of actually picking up the eliminations was the
Tough.
fault.
But that's the thing. That's never
Chat
the part
הזוי.
you're worried about with those three.
כרגע מקום 10 מתוך 33 טימים.
The problem coming into this weekend was going to be, what's the idea?
והאמן שימשיך.
You know, ride out triple gun. Are they going to go do a team shot? Are they going to try third party? We know the idea now. The execution has to be the easy part. I do agree with you though. I think as long as they don't allow that first game being a bit rocky to rattle them, things should still look good for them along the course of the 12 games.
And that's exactly what I'm worried about, right? You know, after first game, if I'm Peter Cold Ritual, I'm thinking, okay, hold on a minute. Why did you go off by yourself? What? Now we're having to like try and play catch up this whole game.
Yeah.
You know, some players in that moment, that's it. Tournament's done.
David.
They can't they have to wait to day number 2 to try and get those mentals back in track.
Yeah.
But this is still Peter Cold and Ritual, right? This is still a world-class trio.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping that they can kind of bounce back after that game. But there was also just so many different things happening.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of other moments that kind of stand out to you? I think
הם
for
הולכים
me,
להיפרד כשיגמר בוודאות, כי
around
פשוט
being like,
לסגור את זה.
wait, these guys are like near each other. There's a bunch of fights happening in zone.
Yeah.
A bunch of just crazy shots on players in the sky the entire time. Like, oh my gosh.
I mean, look, before there were a lot of things we can get to, right? I do just want to one last time just big up Victor V there, right? Because I think there's a lot of players who, you know,
אם פיטר בוט פונה
we saw what Peter and Poyo were doing there. Like, there was a lot of players who
פונה לפוקוס, אומר, תשמע אחי, אני רוצה אותך איתי. מה אתם מגיבים קצת?
I am that guy. If you want to fight me, I'm going to show you a fight.
Yeah, I like the fact that you kind of go ahead and point it out, because now kind of thinking back to her, right? Epic Will, of course, got knocked by Ritual. They knew that was beat coming. Yeah. So Victor V definitely stepped up big right there. Didn't care at all, just to edit 148, finish him off with one AR shot.
מה אתם עושים באמת?
Way to kind of rise to the occasion. And, you know, Zeke instantly kind of saw that moment. He was like, oh, dude, Pops is going crazy somewhere.
Dude, I mean, you know, again, this is at a global stage, right? In those moments where you are kind of put in a situation where it's like, are you going to fail or are you going to rise to the occasion? For Victor V, he rose, and now just think, that's just game number 1. What else is he going to look to bring in these future games with that nice little boost of confidence?
Now, that being said, right, you kind of mentioned, hey, you know, we don't see a team in the top 10. We don't see a couple teams in the top 10, right? Peterbot's not up there. Epic Will's not up there. Finally, we see them in 13th place right there. A team that is definitely surprising. We have to talk about it. 17th, Acorn, Aders, and Pollo, 16 points in game number 1. I mean, honestly, with Fortnite, there's so much to watch. I don't even think we necessarily saw exactly what happened to them that game, but middle of the game, we kind of see them up in the top left go down, and we're like, whoa, what's happening?
Yeah, a bit of a rocky one, right? We don't exactly know what happened. We did see
Acorn
had gone down, then it was up to Aders and Pollo to sort of fend off. Pollo ends up actually, you know, winning the fight on his own, right? Like he gets the last couple of eliminations, and so they win the fight, but they lose the war, right? Because then it's Pollo left as a solo. It was always going to be a tough one. Even though we know Pollo can, you know, have a clutch or two in him, I think the big thing again is it's just first game, right? We're all hyped, we're all excited. Canada on this stage is excited. I won the first game, I'm winning the whole thing. But it is just one of 12 games. You still have so much of your history to write right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is a marathon, right? It's not a sprint. And it's interesting, too, kind of going back to Pollo, because there was that moment in, like, in the mid-game, we kind of saw them pushing the lone player. They immediately find someone on their own. They go, hey, it's not just me going. We're all jumping on this. We're going to burn a little bit of what we have. We're going to start kind of packing up with Surge, kind of setting that up. Let's take their stuff. And then, yeah, I mean, things just kind of fell apart. I do agree, though. Knowing this trio, I do feel like it's first game jitters. Right, again, this crowd takes things to a little bit of a different level. So I'm expecting a strong bounce back from game number 2, right?
נראה לי פורטנייט שילמו לקהל הזה. וואלה, אני מרגיש במשחק כדורגל, צ'אט. וואו, תשמעו, אם אתם עוברים באירופה, לא אירופה, באסיה, ואתם אוהבים גרעינים, תביאו לכם את הגרעינים האלה. זה הגרעינים הכי טובים בעולם. כל פעם שאנחנו בתאילנד, אנחנו מביאים סחורות הביתה.
the standings, we had 2 Brazilian teams in the top 10.
They were moving.
Right? King, Phaser, they were up there. We kind of saw them make it to the end game, and I swear, I think that NA experience that they got did such a good job of helping them out, because it was like in NA, every single time we kind of saw them kind of make it to the end game, they were always as a trio. They do such a good job of making it to the end game as a trio, right? They'll kind of make it around to like that 10th place in the game, and then continuing after that is kind of the development that they need. But hey, top 10 right now, pretty good.
That's right. Now that was just game number 1. As we continue to prepare for the competition, why don't we hear from the players on their thoughts from the competition and the enemy trios on the other side.
I think this is probably one of the most stacked lobbies there's ever been. All these teams that are here had to be the top of the competition.
そうですね。それはやっぱ世界で一番トップだと思います。
People get better every single year. This lobby feels super stacked. It's FNCS. I heard there's over 140 FNCS wins.
Over 12 games. Really, the best players are going to come out.
There's a lot more respected players here, so it's definitely more tough.
I think our biggest competition would be Cold's team. Individually, they're like the best players in the world.
وبرضو عندي تيم بويو وايكورن وايجرز من افضل التيام اللي موجوده بالجلوبال.
Poyo's team is such a threat because they've been on top of the scene throughout the past year.
Acorn is probably the greatest IGL of all time, so smart and just knows what to do in any situation.
You got like the EU goats, Taze and Queasy. Queasy's just like, he's a veteran, always making the right calls, and just finds all the young prodigies to help him up to the top.
And then Vino's team, I think they're like the NA version of Cold's team, so like they're all individually good.
Looking at a player like Flixie, I think he has just everything. He has good aim, good mechanics,
smart. I think Canada Rapid Bolt's probably going to be like a very underdog team.
They have really good chemistry as a trio.
Vanyak, Marios and Pixie.
They got third, first and third in the EU FNCS this whole year, and they've been playing very well.
An underdog team that I think will do good
is I
think Kami might surprise everyone because he has a non-con spot. I think he's gonna do well.
The top teams are way better because you have like the top teams from every single region.
My surprise Dark Horse top 10 team would probably be Rue's trio. I'd say they're my sneaky top 10 pick.
From the Brazil region, I think the biggest threats are King's trio. I think they're gonna shock people.
Alex's trio is the best in OC because they're the most aggressive.
Kyoto, like one of the best fighters in the world, so we'll see what he has to bring.
He's been getting a lot of hype, but like it honestly still might not be enough.
All the Asia boys, like they're nuts.
I think that's the most hard level of competition ever.
All the people that have qualified really deserve to qualify.
The level of competition doesn't get higher than that. Everything like before this has definitely leveled up to this.
We got here against all odds. We made it.
We're gonna definitely put on a show.
טוב שהם לא דחו את זה קצת עוד יותר. איזה מוגזם אחי. וואלה דחו את זה מוגזם אחי. הגזימו צ'אט, הגזימו. לא, הם לא יכולים שעתיים. שעתיים זה לא אפשרי, אבל... אולי, אתה מתכוון, אחי? אחי, אתה הקשבת לעצמך? 3 שעות זה המינימום לאירוע כזה, מה יש לך? זה המינימום. עוד פעם הקופירייט. זה לא אכפת לה. מה יש בהראל? פיגס. ויקו. וינו. Boyle. פויו, מה אתה רגע עם הבריקאפ אחי? הלך קדימה רצח. ריט. אחי קופר אתה לא קולד אחי. סאביג' אחי נראה טוב. הוא אנדרייקי אחי. אתה לא קולד אחי. מה זה שחקן? פיטר קולד וואי קולד חתיך צ'אט
The global championship game number 1 goes in the way of Canada Rapid and Bolt. An explosive pop-off from not only in-game from Canada himself, and now we make a return and start to continue the competition. Now, there is a small technical issue happening on stage. We're working to resolve that very quickly, and then we'll get back into all of the action. Let's continue talking about what we saw out of game number 1. Mr. Savage having that moment to pop off. That's what I love to see, and I love to have that moment where he's like, hey, I don't know French, I know a couple things. Got a good laugh out of me personally, I'll just say that.
But you know what I love about that, right? Before we analyze the gameplay, one thing I love, right, is we obviously have a very passionate crowd with us here.
Yep.
And so, you know, obviously they have all their cheers and they love, but they also have a couple boos in them, right? You know, they weren't showing love to everyone. They were always showing love to M8 people. I love how they still have respect for Mr. Savage.
Yeah.
He truly is the most iconic EU personality, Fortnite player of all time. Like, they didn't care that he's not actually on M8, they were just like, we love Mr. Savage.
Yeah, that guy love him.
Yeah, we love him.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Savage is, of course, great. Right there, though, you know, was knocked a little bit earlier on. Chap and Reason kind of making it to the end game as a duo, making sure they do find themselves in 4th place. And he's got to be feeling so good about that, because we all know the storyline that is so typical. And with the Mr. Savage name. It's almost like you could kind of change his name from Mr. Savage to Mr. Contested, because it feels like every single time he wants to do good and he's like feeling motivated for Fortnite. Somebody wants to land on. And we came into Globals kind of expecting that, right? Coyote's trio was supposed to be landing on him. Vino maybe kind of throwing in a haymaker there, kind of saving him at the last second, right? Preventing that from happening, but boom, kind of proves himself uncontested and early on, 4th place.
I mean, it feels weird. Times are changing, man. As an EU veteran myself, I'm not used to seeing Mr. Savage uncontested so many times. I mean, we had it in Major 3, now we get the championships. We're being spoiled, actually. I mean, for years, we have just had to deal with him being contested, no matter what. Right? So it's nice to see him get a shot to just build a strategy, play out the game, and he's got 2 great players by his side. I mean, Reason, of course, another legend of EU. And then you have Chap, you know, star of the show who popped off a lot last year, back on this stage now, and he started off really well.
I love too that as Chap has been getting here, so many other pros are
like היחידי שהוא פרו באמת אמיתי, כאילו, סאביג' פרו אמיתי, אבל סאביג' הכי...
He's earned, but kind of like hasn't really been a thing for some reason. Now, you did mention the fact that he's uncontested. Do we think that will continue to be the case? Because we did see that off-spawn situation go in the favor of Vico, right? Yep, so, do we think maybe Coyote's thinking, you know what? Maybe let me test my luck with Mr. Savage game 2. Let me just see what happens.
I got a question for you. Okay. Be honest with me. Do you think Coyote is a liar? Because that man said he ain't leaving, and I believe him. I believe him. He said it. I love how they had to like translate the whole interview, and there was the one bit where he did not have to translate at all. They said, "Are you leaving?" He said, "Nah." So I think they're gonna stay. I think, you know, all things considered, Mr. Savage should stay uncontested. Fingers crossed, at least.
Okay, I like that. Okay, we also obviously have to talk about other M8 specials. Malabuka, we saw him popping off in this game as well, right? The crowd loving these M8 players. And of course, you know, again, this is just game number 1, so I don't want to get like crazy and be like, oh man, things are bad. It's fine. It's that tester game, it's that feeler game, but them coming out in game number 1 feels like a solid start, right? Like now we need to pick things up.
Focus?
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen. It's kind of hard. Well, I mean, maybe it is a little bit harder than I would imagine, but when you have so much support,
זה הגלובל צ'מפיון הראשון שלהם.
feel a little bit amped up, right? It's kind of like a little bit of a moon of sorts, right? You're just like, yeah. Everyone wants to see me do well. Honestly, though, I mean, listen, they did, kind of like well enough. They got some experience going through this game, survived Storm Surge, made it to the end game. Fell a little bit short when it kind of got to the later zones, but still kind of making it there. It's looking good.
I mean, for all my EU enjoyers, this is a typical Malabuka Wox ping game, right? They are synonymous with making it to the end game, one of them just going down, and then it has to be a dual clutch or solo clutch. It's happened so often, and we've seen them have amazing seasons, right? Amazing finals where they finish, in the top 3, or almost winning at times, where this does happen, right? So again, if we're looking at maybe Queasy's trio and going, hey, that was, the setup was to do what they always do. You could say the same about Malabuka's show, where the setup was to do what they always do. They made it to the end game, a bit rocky. In those situations, though, where they are able to stay all 3 of them as a trio, that's been when we've seen some of the best performances from any team this year, right? So hopefully they can sort of, stay a bit more tight-knit moving forward.
That's interesting, yeah. I guess obviously, again, this is just game 1, right? We haven't seen those solo clutches, right? Kanada's trio coming out in that end game moment as a full trio. No. But like in NA, think about how many, even in EU, right? How many times we see these solo clutch moments? You're thinking, what is this player doing alive? It's just them. There's no way, man. Oh, they went out to win the game. Oh, they clutched a top 3, right? Like, but so far it's looked like, if something goes wrong and that trio, one member goes down,
well, I mean, that's what makes solo clutches so special, because you do not see them all the time, right? That's when they do happen, everybody gets excited. And I can almost guarantee you solo clutches will play a very big part in who actually ends up winning after 12 games. You just have to.
Absolutely. I'm so glad. This is why I love working. No, honestly.
And Zeke, that's fine.
Yeah, of course not. Zeke, everyone loves you, Zeke. Look, it is so important, right? We always have this thing in Fortnite where people are like, yeah, you don't want to see them having to solo clutch, you want to see them all. Yes, that's true. But at the end of the day, when you look at some of the greatest, results and tournament wins we've seen in Fortnite history, a lot of them are built off the back of great solo clutches. Peterbot and Poyo are not global champions if last year Peterbot doesn't have one of the best solo clutches of all time, right? You can look at so many FNCS wins from all different regions where solo clutching was, the key to a team being able to get over the edge. If you have players on your team who you are confident they can deliver you and get some extra points as a solo, you are well in with a chance of winning this.
I love that breakdown. That's so sick. And it's got me hyped, right? Because like, do you guys? Okay, let me test them out here. Do you guys feel like game 1? Like, obviously it was a great game.
It was.
But it feels like last year Globals game 1 was like wild, and then as the day went on, we got crazed. Game 1 ended in Canada win. That's pretty crazy, but it kind of felt subdued. It's kind of like the calm before the storm. Am I misreading the situation,
bro? Devin, Zeke is not entertained.
Whoa, I didn't say that.
That's what you're saying, bro. He's like, dude, game 1 was terrible. Bro. I don't want to ever see a game like that ever again. There's no solo clutches. Like last year's Global was just better. Bro, that game was good.
Listen,
had everything we had everything we wanted, bro. The structure, right? Finding out what teams are kind of going to play for the high ground, what teams are going to play for the low ground, what we can expect off spawn for the rest of the 11 games. I'm excited, and Zeke's disappointing me with it.
Now I know why they have to put Kelly in between you two, to keep you two apart. It's going to be hard. No, I'd agree with it. I feel like there was a lot of the beats that we sort of expect to see out of a lot of players. I would say though, I do think it does get crazier. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a couple levels that we can ramp up to in terms of just like some crazy high ground fights, right?
טוב, צ'אט רציני, אני מצטער על זה. זו תקלה שאין לי לסדר אותה, אני כבר ניסיתי לסדר אותה איזה חצי שעה לפני. נראה לכם סרטונים בקרוב לא מעט. אז להתראות צ'אט. סליחה על זה, הלו.